Good morning, I'm Captain Parenti with the Webster Groves Fire Department, and today we're going to be going over how to load the triple layer load on our 200-foot inch and 3/4 pre-connected hose. If you see, we have the tray. This is the tray from 2094, but the same tray is also used for 2014. We've staged the tray along with 4 sections of 50-foot hose, all donut rolled off to the side. The donut roll helps us to eliminate any air or any water that is in the hose prior to loading it into the tray. First step, one firefighter is going to be taking one rolled up donut roll and throwing it away from the tray. If you look on this side of the tray, we have these 2 lines helping us to remember that when the hose is connected to the truck, this is the female end that will connect to the truck. This little bend, little triangle right here, helps us to keep the hose flat against the tray, flat on the bottom of the tray. So we have one load thrown from the tray, out away from the tray. This next load from the coupling is also going to be thrown away from the male end of the coupling, away from the tray. Once this connection is made, grabbing the other end of the coupling and bringing it back to this coupling. Third section of hose from this male end towards the tray. So we need to create a section of the hose to clear the tray that doesn't have the triple layer on top of it. Typically this is 4 or 5 steps from the tray itself. If I'm just using my general rule of thumb, taking 5 steps from the tray itself, that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Tip of my toe ends up being the bend. And then from the last male end of the coupling, we're going to take the last donut roll and throw it away from the tray. And now that we have all 4 sections of hose, connect the last section of the hose and also connect the nozzle at the tip at the very end. See the tip here, our goal is going to be to line up this bend with the end of the nozzle right here. So this firefighter right here is going to give directions to that firefighter down at the bend, directing which end they need to pull from. They need to work together as a team, because if this...
Yeah, give me slack on the middle one.
If this firefighter pulls from that end, it also lengthens this.
Stop, that's good.
So go just a little bit more. So now if you see that we have an approximate aligning of the end of the nozzle with the end of this bend of the hose. And now the last step before we load the hose into the tray is to load all 3 layers of the hose on top of each other. We're going to do that by working at the tray end and working back towards the nozzle. The cleanest way to do this is if one firefighter has his foot, if one firefighter keeps his foot on the hose itself, another firefighter can manipulate the hose and line it up. When this part is clean, he can bump up. Typically it's best to work 4 or 5 feet at a time. That way you don't get too far ahead of yourself, making sure that you're always keeping a good, clean, triple layer. And then allowing the person assisting you time to bump up. Bump up. Bump up. All right, so we worked together as a team. One firefighter kept his foot on all 3 layers of the hose. We worked from the tray to the tip of the nozzle. Now we have a nice, clean 3 layers of 1 3/4 on top of each other. Last step, to make a nice, clean load into the tray. Typically, this works best with 3 people. Each person at the bend is going to help make sure that they keep a nice, crisp bend at the edge of the tray. The key to this part is to just go slow. Take your time. Make sure that you have removed any kinks. Made it lay flat. Made it lay neat. Need a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, I have a good bend at my end.
Bend here.
Okay. So he made one bend first, and then put the triple layer on top of that. He's gonna bend back on top of his, and about the halfway point is where I'm gonna transition to the back over here. Once you hit the bend on the end of the tray, just smooth everything back. And take your time. On the 200 foot, you're gonna get 3 layers on the bottom, 1 layer on the top, and then it'll be at the end of the hose to where you start to make your bend, and then the bend is gonna be on one side with the nozzle on the other side. So 1 more layer on top here. The bend is going to be at my end with the nozzle ending up down at the other end. Now, if you see at the end, just while you're loading the hose, you may have misaligned where this bend does not necessarily meet the tip of the nozzle anymore, but a simple adjustment by lining up your nozzle in the middle of the tray can help clean that up and make an easily distinguishable landmark from the edge of the tray when it goes to deploy. putting this loop through the bail so that everything is grabbed by the firefighter deploying from this end. The Dutchman has cleaned it up in the middle. So now we have a nice, clean, easy to deploy 1 3/4, 200-foot pre-connect. If you were directed to deploy from this end by your captain, you have an easily to distinguish landmark. Your bend on the side here, this is what you grab. This is what to pull through and deploy. If you were directed to deploy from this end of the truck, your landmark, the nozzle with this tip, this edge, fed through the bail of the hose, grabbing this and deploying it this way. We're gonna pick this up, we're gonna load it on the truck, connect our coupling, and show you from each end how it looks inside the truck. Fold that coupling over. Watch your fingers. We go on the other end of the truck. Go ahead and make our connection. All right, now if we're looking at our landmarks, this is our 200-footer, this is our 300-footer. If you were asked to deploy the hose from the Bravo and captain side of the truck, this is your bend. This is an easily distinguishable landmark. This is a 2 a.m. I know what I'm grabbing, even in the middle of the sleep. If I'm feeling sleepy, if I'm not quite awake yet, it's firefighter proof. There's no thinking about it. Grab your loop and go. Let's look at it from the other end of the truck. Now we're on the engineer side, or the Charlie side of the truck. Our easily distinguishable landmark is the tip of the nozzle along with the edge of the hose that is fed through the bail. This lines up this way on the 200-footer and also on the 300-footer. Making a nice, clean hose load is not only pride in our trucks and how we present ourselves, but if it looks good, it deploys good. And that should be the ultimate goal when we're thinking of ourselves as an engine company and how we want to attack fire in a nice, clean methodology to where we can deploy a hose, charge a hose with minimal kinks and ready to go inside and make an interior attack. All right, thank you for paying attention and looking at our triple layer hose load, 200-foot 1 3/4 tutorial video. We'll be making another one on the 300-footer in the future. Thank you.